Okay. What's up, what's up, what's up? Oh gosh, did you move my camera? No, it's just trash right now. It's just trash right now. What's up, everybody? It's me, Caretographer. I'm gonna figure out this green screen one day, but hey, most of it's there. 90%. 80% participation. Three minutes. Okay. What are stream display ads? Oh, okay. Okay. Go back. Pre-rolls off. I think that's fine. Jaja Bell, you are a Jaja Bell. Jaja Bell, you are a Jaja Bell. A Jezebel, you are my Jaja Bell. Jezebel, you are my Jaja Bell. Yeah. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Wherever you are, a slurpy slurpy to you and yours. Is anyone gonna come hang out today, or is it just gonna be me and Jezebel? Working on a really cool build today. I did an hour or two just to get a good chunk on it. I've been kind of keeping myself like a week or two, more like 2 or 3 weeks ahead of my prep schedule. Just so that way I don't have to like crunch any of these maps. I don't like crunching maps when I don't have to. So like when the inspiration turns off, I can just shut the program off and be done. As opposed to being like, oh, I have 2 days to finish this. Let me make sure I finish this. So I exported this. I kind of just had to like restructure how I was going to present some of this stuff. The original plan was to have them go to lot 51. What's the best way to show you guys this? Probably in my owlbear, because I already have them exported. Okay, so I'll show you quick. So the original plan was to have them come here to lot 51 to do like a night mission, a night police mission type mission, where they have to inspect and investigate this building, which is the lot directly across from the building here. Which now that I have the time to do this, I might expand this map and add another chunk to it. I wanted to keep it small because I was like, oh, I'm not building the whole piece. But I have the time now because what had happened is my players so successfully in like literally I think the first session we played snuck into one of the officers offices officer's office, one of the like lieutenant offices, and they found some notes that kind of gave clues to some stuff going on to the north of the castle. And now, several sessions later, my player is really dead set on figuring that out. And they're like, hey, we have free time. Let's go north of the castle and poke our noses into some business. And I'm like, well, that's like, you skip 3 quests that I had in line and planned, you know? And, you know, a younger, more naive dungeon master would have been like, oh, pump the brakes. Like, this is wrong. We had this in mind. But I really kind of just stepped back and was like, you know what? We had like 10 minutes of session left, and I was like, you know what, we're gonna end the session here. It seems like we've all found a new place that we want to, you know, kind of end the night on, right? And then this whole week I've been just effectively switching everything around. So they were gonna go here, they were then gonna get a day off, they were then gonna get summoned to come do a quest and come here by one of their superior officers, to which on this road there was a broken down wagon right on this little hump right here. And they would, you know, come across the broken wagon, delivering goods to Daggerford's House of Shantea, and they would see an injured priest. They would see blood and wreckage, and then they would piece together the clues to kind of search and find. And if they were successful of finding where these attackers or ambushers fled to, which wouldn't be the very low DCs, very low DCs. They would come to this map, which is, you know, a section just northeast of the road that they were just on. There's a small patch of woods, which is kind of like a point of interest in this big open hilly field area. There isn't much trees. This would be one of the few patches of trees that I would definitely point out to them and kind of like allude to, hey, you probably don't want to go check that out, right? To which they would find the hobgoblins who raided the wagon. They would be, you know, organizing and sorting through their loot before they were to head home north to the Flotian Estates. And then we would have them flee from the Flotian Estates and then come back with a sizable force of the Daggerford militia to then do a large scale kind of end cap assault of the Flotian Estates, to clear them up any of the Hobgoblin Rising. So what had happened is rewind. My players have decided that they want to go north now to the tradeway there, so they're on this essentially this part of the road now. I'm gonna have them start the next session. It was like almost evening, so I'm gonna have them start the next session here, which is this same map, just turned night. To where I'll have them do a camp out, a stakeout, and then the following morning, I'm just going to fast forward some of the events, and have them be there when this wagon gets, you know, acquiesced. So essentially, I plan for this to happen like on the calendar 2-3 days after today. But because of the way they're playing and because of the way I want this to play out now, it's going to happen tomorrow. And they're going to be there for it, and they're going to witness everything, and they'll have a chance to intercept this Hobgoblin raid group before they are successful at raiding the wagon, which will then give them some good marks for the city, give them some good marks for the House of Shantea, which they already have a couple good marks for, and they will then, this is what I got to think about. So they intercept the ambushers, they save the wagon, they'll probably want to return back right away, because the way they've been playing is anytime they do anything worth note, they're like grab some evidence and they're like, we need to show this to our boss, is like their MO. So they probably would go right back to the castle, to which then I would introduce them back into Lot 51 and say, hey, we have this special quest for you to do this. And then we just go do the scouting mission. So zoop, 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 flip them around a little bit. So they left the castle. They into yeah. So it's supposed to go like A B C. Now it's going B A C, which is whoop, 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 done. You know, like I don't even have to overthink it or plan much. Everything that I had planned is planned and is set. You know, so it's like pretty cool. You just let the players kind of decide where you're going. You know, so we're working on because those three maps are done. Um, we are working on Flotian Estate 2, which isn't even in this folder yet, which it is now. One of these days I'm just gonna go and make an autosave file. I like they instituted this autosave, and the thing about autosave is like it will be applicable one day. There will be a time where I'm like, F, I really messed up, and I wish I could auto load my progress. But every moment and point up until that point where it's relevant, I'm gonna be like, damn, why there's all these save files? I hate all these save files. Okay, so this is the castle we've been building. Let me switch to the DAM screen for us, so I get the capture a bit better. There we are. Okay, so I need to essentially outfit the rest of this. I kind of skipped a step. I didn't fully do everything around this. I'm gonna have to kind of do some reverse work. What I mean by that is like normally I would have everything around the castle finished, and then I would do the castle floor 1, save, castle floor 2, save, castle floor 3, save, and then everything's done, right? In this case, I really was worried about how this castle would come out, and I wanted to build the castle first, and now I have to build everything around it. So I have to do that in reverse order. So I have to do build castle floor 1, 2, 3, build everything around it, save, delete floor 3, save, delete floor 2, save. It's a little bit more work, but it's at least just ensuring I am a bit more confident in how things are going to look when they're done. So this is the Flotian Estate, which is a manor, which is a castle. You see the map over here that I've kind of been guiding off of. So now I need to fill in this floor manually with as many things as I can fill in. As far as just like aesthetic and look, I do not get to use regular doors, which is okay. I have methods for dealing with this. So why don't we start there? We'll start with our doors. We were using coffered doors in this because I knew, Caretographer knew, that we would get to a point where we needed fake doors. And we want the fake doors to, of course, look like our real doors. And I do that by using the wooden coffered doors and also using the mahogany wood panel doors, these ones. Because they almost look the same. See, they got that shape to them. Oh, I gotta resize them so they fit better. Or maybe not. Maybe we could leave that. So we're going on here. Sneak inside. You see, we got these coffered doors. They look like chocolate bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 little chocolate bars. 9 little chocolate bars. So like they're very akin. Okay. Switch the music off of medieval lo-fi to our new friend Jonathan Brooks. Some double doors. Open hallways. That's not an open hallway. There's a door there. A door at the end of that hallway. Okay. Big open room. Door. I have these beautiful roof tiles brought to us by Asmodeus, Dallas RT, however you want to find them on the internet. They have a couple different tags they go by. Let me get a stream manager up. I don't think there's anybody hanging out with me, but might as well be prepared in case someone doesn't. I should probably post my stuff. This is the hardest part, I think, about streaming. Is just like doing all the support. I am not offline. Okay, alright. There we go. Doing all the stream support, advertising, videos, like setting up your stream itself. I don't know if that's how I want to approach that. So we'll see. We're just going to keep that temporaries for now. And we'll see how I choose to decorate the room. Okay. Now up here, because it's separate and it's on its own floor, I'm very excited to be able to use an actual gate. Which is important because this is the most structuralized gate that does exist. Um, my issue with the drawbridge is just it's so freaking tiny. You can't ever actually use it to draw over anything. Or if you do, it's like the tiniest little dinkiest moat. I'm just trying to figure out which gate I want to move forward with. Try to find something that matches our stone, but I don't really have anything. That's supposed to be the brace bar behind it. I don't want any devil imagery. And now in hindsight, I'm finding I don't like that door. Oh yeah. I've done this in the past by just like tilting this one back. Just creating like a little divot. At the very least, the clovers might be janked up a little bit. If I move these over a little bit. I'm just trying to make it so the you can at least see the clovers. Like the creative genius of being able to make that look like it's perfect, but it's not perfect. It's like totally not perfect. And this is the secret. This is how you build huge builds like that I'm building here. This is how they come to life. Oh! Is that new? I freaking love it, dude. Oh man, dude, I kind of want to use more of that. Oh, but we have the matching double gates. Hmm. I messed that up. How did I mess that up? Everything else is already made. Can I go higher? Because I'll rebuild all this. That was rebuilt really quick. I can. Okay. Well. Nice, I love when it comes with. There we are. Two, flip this one, flip this one, flip this one. There we go. That's how we build our bridge. Cancel. Go above. Delete. Great hallway. We want walls. Through castle. Back to this. Four by 6x4, 6x4, 2x6. A 4x6. 4.2-ish, it should be around. This is always the hardest to match up. That looks on. It's the hardest because it's like you gotta just do it, hope you hit it right. And then on top of that, like, you'll delete some of your stuff that exists. So a little bit lower. Try it there. I get myself some breakfast. That's pretty darn close. Close enough for me. Okay. Yeah, with the new build tool, once you get the first floor at the right height, it's really easy to build the rest of them off of it. Okay. And because we're up on a new terrace, we will do the base floor, which is the stone with the beveled support. As you can see, I have that on my base floor down here. Goes all the way around the curtain of the castle. I think it looks really good. Kind of creates like a foundation, if you will. Oh, and then we can mimic that up top, y'all. Squat bump 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 bump. I really like this because this is one of the few doors that I've found that is a single door that sits in between a grid axis. Right? You see how it's in between two, but it's one door. Where normally, if you want a single door, it has to be, on a single tile. as a single 5-foot tile, and you can't change the shapes of assets like that that have codes and stuff, actions ingrained in their coding. It's like those, like fireplaces, stuff like that. Is a lot of that stuff you can't change. Okay, so castle's looking good. We got all of our doors. Honestly, I think I can just omit windows, or we could do something like this. Some ornamental windows. Which honestly, I think I don't understand. They look really good. I don't understand, like, A, why I can't make these bigger or smaller, and B, why I can't why I can't why they have these stones here. So I can come through and like do some creative asset use. Oh, nice. Just have to move them a little bit off the plane. And the question is, yeah, like I would make these a bit smaller so they fit inside the first floor, but I just have to say, hey, they don't, you know? Well, this room would look good with windows as such. As such. Even those windows cut off look good. Dun, 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 dun. Looks really good. Add some windows on the castle. And what I love about the windows is they have the Gothic match, so they'll clover to match. So there's a little imagery. Okay, let's see. Round table. I did want to read some like write up on some of the stuff that would be in here. But like also anything in the write up would just be like old news. So like I can refurniture this place however I like it. You're lost in the sauce here a little bit. There it is. It's inside a thing. I didn't change its size though, I don't believe so. Just go back and find it. These rooms are big too. I doubled them up. Two of those. Another one on the opposite side. Put those together. I think that works. One, two, three, four. Small table here. Also, I can like try to go about thinking. I don't know what to put on those floors there. Could do something like such. An idea. Don't know if I love or hate this. I like it. I really like it. Let me leave this one open because this is a battlement room. This one open, battlement room. This has carpet leading to it. Would anybody like to come watch my maps? Does anybody think my maps are cool? Does anyone think my maps are good? I would accept your affirmations. Oh, yes, I would. I would accept all your affirmations. Just trying to add some like different shape on the tiles that have been tread a bit more than the others. Oh, how gaudy does that look? Um, mm, do I like that? Is that okay? I'm just like I'm back and forth on whether or not I should have doors there, actual doors. Strategically, I'm just like doing the math. I'm just like, like what's more practical, having a bunch of segmented doors here or having it be open vessels so that you can, shoot and kill people coming in. So essentially, you could have a main force here, main force here, holding this doorway as they funnel in here into this small area. Kill zones, kill zones. When that gets overwhelmed, you have these two groups fall back to this main centrifuge, to which they can hold this main point and shoot out. And to which again the forces are then centralized and cut off from everything else. And in this case, they would be split into two. So like half the force could effectively guard twice as much now, because the forces are split, right? If you had a phalanx here and a phalanx here guarding both doorways, and their forces are now split, you can't be surrounded. And then when that falls, they retreat back through the main door and they hold off this gully of the bridge they can shoot at from the tower. Um, and they can defend the castle. So like they did extra fortifications up and over here because for one this is their weak point. This is the high point of the castle. This is where the highest elevation is. If somebody wanted to attack or flank the castle, this is where they would do it. This is also on the side away from the tradeway. The western side is where the tradeway falls on the coast, and then the eastern side is where the wilds of the world of D&D are. So this is essentially facing any adversaries they would have had in most parts. Riffraff, hobgoblins, raid parties, etc. Yeah, this is coming out. It's coming out great. Just got to do some furniture, and with a build like this, I take so much time on it that I normally just kind of omit. I don't omit. I just get lazy on the furniture. Because this is more of a battle map, if anything, if you will. So essentially, like the details aren't really that important as far as like what's on the shelf, what's over here, right? If I find something that I think is important that I need once I start writing the story for this, then I will add that. But most of the build gets caught up in just being all this extra building, several maps. I'm super excited to finish this though. This is some awesome content. Awesome content, and the map you see that I'm drawing off of, this is like the latest point in which any content has been written for some of these maps, some of these places. So it's very exciting to be one of the few people who is effectively updating these maps, I guess. Bringing them to a 2024 status. So yeah, so it's exciting. I don't think anyone else is really doing the work that I'm doing. It'd be great if someone from Wizards of the Coast or even just the community could recognize my work. I feel like it's really cool. Just not that many people know about it yet. So hopefully by the time this project is finished in its entirety, I'll have a bit more reach. I have a bit more pull. People will know my stuff, and they can kind of just tune into a large chunk of the project instead of waiting for it all to come out. I slowly work myself through all the pieces of the content. But yeah, if there's people here, I would show more stuff, but nobody's here. It's just me, so I'll do whatever I want until that changes. How sad. The D&D community is just like evaporated almost overnight, it feels. Everyone played a shit ton of D&D, and then nobody plays D&D. Let's get some coffee. So, I'll just prep out loud because it helps me prep anyways. Even if I'm talking to no one, I'm talking to myself. Um, so the original plan was to have them. Well, they have two options. There's two things going on. There's a large scale battle happening at the front of the castle. There is an opportunity to sneak in the back of the back gate. Now, I had this narrated as if the players are successful at obtaining information of the whereabouts of this castle and what's going on um, before they are seen, then they will have the ability to sneak through the back gate as it won't be defended. However, if they do sneak up the back hill and they are detected and chased down, or say they alert these ambushers, this raid party, right? This would be another option. If they alert the castle in any way, shape, or form of their presence, or that they know, then the castle will then redistribute some of its defenses, and it'll put some people up on the back gate here, and it'll put some people in the front. So kind of creating some duality and some narrative kind of purpose for how these players approach the castle. What happens is going to be, decided in the next kind of few sessions that we play here. But effectively, I feel that the people defending this area would assume most of their threat would come from the tradeway. Uh, it's where all all these soldiers would have to travel upon if they were to approach the castle and there was to be a fight, right? It would be impractical to march this large troop over the back hills yonder, and it would take more time. So the front of the castle is where they have most of their defenses, and narratively, I have written in essentially the hobgoblins have that all trapped out. It's a trap field of a mess. A mess of ambushers, archers, traps, and no gooderies. A dead man's land. You do not want to be approaching there, and the militiamen that approach it will find themselves in quite the predicament. And if my players want to go through the front of the assault, essentially what I have in mind is a large scale battle that they're quote unquote like participating in, but not like an active initiative. I'll change the initiative format to where they're kind of acting outside of the fight, and they can participate in the fight if they want to, but they're not actively being shot at or like in engagement. So they have the freedom to move around in the fight. And essentially, what I will do is narrate different points, choke points, where the militia can't move forward, and if their players can come in and kind of do the dangerous thing and take out the ambushers holding them down, and or remove the trap or disarm the trap that's preventing their progress, or find some way around it, then the militia can advance. And every time the militia advances, the field will change, and the players will get closer and closer to the castle, and kind of their way of accessing the castle through the front is going to be in the format of like probably like a 1-2-3. Like if they can advance the militia 3 times, they'll be at the front gate, and the militia will overwhelm them and ram the doors down, and all the players will be allowed to move into the castle. And these players will have a mission, and their mission is to get inside the castle as fast as they can and find whomever is behind what is going on. Kind of cut the head off the snake. Um, so that's if they go through the front. But if they feel like they want to do a stealth mission and they're like, hey, we got to cut the head off the snake, we got to get in there faster than the army, and we don't want to be held back by the army, which I would love for them to do, then they can try to sneak in the back. There's the other way to access the castle. And if they can sneak in the back sneakily, then they will effectively be able to um, they will be able to access the back gate without extra adversaries there. Back to like where we started, right? Where I was saying things are all going to be connected and correlated. Just trying to do some supports here. So yeah, really how these players approach is up to them. I'm gonna try and leave it up into their court, and even like with the NPCs, like they're even gonna be like, hey, like this is what I want you to do. Y'all have seemed pretty formidable, so I'm gonna let y'all decide. Y'all have been kind of running around the Sword Coast, being successful adventurers and stuff without any command of your own. I'm gonna give y'all free autonomy. My name's Commander Swansea, and I need all the help I can get. Is essentially the MO that we're rolling with here. There we go. And we'll see what the players want to do. If the players want to be a stealth party, which they seem a bit more on the cautious edge. So I would probably assume they would want to do that. They wouldn't want the brazen approach. And I'm like, yes and no. Like they have a brazenness to them as well. Because it really depends on like who's leading the charge at the time, who's making decisions for the party. Because they all kind of take turns. Dang it. Come back. I need you still. I'll probably end up moving all those windows. Beautiful soundtrack, Jonathan Brooks. Thank you for the copyright-free music. Go check them out. They got some sea shanties. They got I shouldn't even say sea shanties. They have an album of shanties. They have like a pirate themed album. They have like a Warhammer themed album. They have a cyberpunk themed album, I believe. They have all sorts of different types of themes. Right now we're on the D&D type themed playlist. All right. Oh, now just gives it some more shape. Just really starting to make it look good, hey. I said I need to do the interior, and here I am just like ignoring the interior, but I want the castle to look good. Oh, that means we also got to come out here. I wonder if this one does not match up. This is really just all just like extra too. This is for like side shots and cinematics. Make it look good. Because from top down, you're not going to see those things that much. Or at all. You do see them over here. Which is nice. I want a fortified wall. Alright, so back to the interior. Let's just get to decorating for now. Planters. Do I want these planters with moss? Yeah, I think they'll probably look better. Just gonna have to get in here freebie style. Like, isn't this just like mesmerizing? So good. I don't know if I like the squares in there. I don't. Better. Like that. Planters. That place is gonna still be decorative. This place has been taken over by some dudes. I wonder also if there's a basement. Isn't there a basement? Let me just Google. This one is what I was looking at from World Anvil. It's got everything around it, but this I don't know if there's like a basement. I always had foreseen a basement. There is, nice, the cellars. Okay. Oh, okay, yeah. So I did put stairs down in that first one. So those are gonna be the stairs down to the cellars right there. Okay. So this is it. This is the idea. So if the players can access the back gate, what that gives them is access to the main tower, which has a stairwell that goes up and down the entire castle. There's no other stairs in this castle. That is the main vestibule of getting to anywhere in the Flotian Manor. So therefore, if they can successfully sneak in the back unannounced or quickly, they can swift themselves down the stairs to the cellar and get to acquiesce their adversary before they reach the portal. And I have this really cool. Let me just bring it with me so I can show you. I have this really cool setup here where I can do this a couple different ways. I can have the portal be in the back corner here, and they get down the stairs, and there's 1, 2, 3 rooms, a chase scene, a fight chase scene, where they have 3 rooms to catch this dude as he runs away. Um, or I can kind of change the anatomy of this down here. Oh, I like these vents. We have a druid. They could possibly sneak in through one of these vents. Like a rat. And sneak in. That's really cool. Okay. And also this water. This is the weirdest water. I don't understand it. It's not on the big map. It's been on the front of every map that I've found. But I have not a clue where it could originate from. Even this river, I'm a little perplexed on. But I left it in because the waterfall will look cool on the map. Like, I mean, I guess let's read. Flotian Estate. There are a few elves in Daggerford, but Lord Darfin Longwalker Flotian of the House of Long Silences is a rare exception. His father, Elor Findar, had a friendly interest in humans and decided to stay when most of the elves left Vale 1,000 years ago. The old elf family passed away about 40 years ago, and his estate passed to Darfin, the oldest of four elven sons. After his elf's wife's death, Elor Findar sired several more half children. Darfin's estate lies between Waterdeep and Daggerford, but he spends as much time in town as he does in the country, enjoying the pleasures of civilization more than the solitude his father desired. A skilled fighter and mage, he enjoys training apprentices through, though he is said to withhold certain magical secrets from students who are not elves. The high road connects Daggerford to Waterdeep in the north. The home of the Flotian family has stood in stately peace for as long as human history records. Part of the graceful structure dates back 1,000 years ago when the elven empire of Ilifarn stretched across the north. Darfin Flotian, the current lord of Flotian estate, can recall when Daggerford was founded, and his father, Elor Findar, gave the magic sword he called Lawflame to the first Duke of Daggerford. The blade has served as part of the regalia of its rulers for every generation since. Thus, the Flotian elves have been a quiet part of life in the region, as expected as the sun in the summer and as certain as spring rain. Few folk in Daggerford have ever stopped to wonder why the Gold Elves remained in the area. They've always been there. The long-lived and wise Elor Findar had been available to the dukes for consultation ever since anyone had been called a Duke of Daggerford. One more of his elf half children brought and maintained houses in the town over the centuries, employing families of human caretakers for generations. The Flotian elves had reason to linger. Long ago, House Dlardrageth, elves who mated with demons to gain power, drew their family into terrible acts of evil. To atone for those actions, an innocent member of House Flotian swore to protect the House of Long Silences. This structure in the depths of the nearby Ardeep forest was the destination of many portals and served as a mean for elves to fleet to ever meet. It also gave access to extraplanar nexuses of portals created by elven high magic in ancient times. Elor Findar, a mage of great power, erected wards over the House of Long Silences that would alert him to its use and prohibit the demon-tainted elves from entering any of the surrounding lands. Then, about a century ago, elves of House Dlardrageth entered the Nexus from another point, and to prevent them from controlling it, the Nexus was shattered. Elor Findar spent the last years of his life trying to coax life back into the portals of the House of Long Silences. When Elor Findar died, the duty of watching over the House of Long Silences and the rule of the Flotian estate fell to his eldest child, Darfin. Not a wizard of his father's caliber, Darfin is accustomed to long trips away from Daggerford. He's all but certain nothing is left to defend at the House of Long Silences. And that is where my story begins. After Darfin has passed. Yeah, died in 1486, which was about 15 years ago for my players. So we can write this story a couple ways. We can just say Darfin just effed off and just, said for the last years of because he's really old at this point. Um, he could have effed off and just went for a a kind of a Rumspringa, just went off and about and into the world, or they could have kind of stayed true to the family creed, and he could have tried to uh, evoke life back into the House of Long Silences. And I think the way I would do that is, he used his last bit of energy trying to kind of establish power and his death was inevitably like the soul power that was needed. Like he died on site trying to cast a spell, right, in the middle of a ritual, and unknowingly died and used his soul as part of the spell and as part of a component to establish the House of Long Silences. But he's dead. Nobody knows he's dead. He didn't have any heirs. Therefore, the portals remain open and can be used. And I think that's the best story I can write for this, because that would explain why creatures are starting to roam back into this area like they were doing before. The portals can be a great power for the realm, but if they go unchecked and they're held by evil hands, well then the evil will creep in. So I think that's my story. That's my Act 2 story. Because everything after Flotion Estates is Act 2. We're not going to be doing it in this campaign. And I'll have some time to go back and reassess what I did, and I'll have a lot of give myself a grace period to kind of create freely. Go on, do the same thing over here. So these match. I like having any matching patterns like that anywhere I can, as much as I can. Yeah, so don't even bother. Maybe some. This puts on like a little bit of just like undergrowth, moss. Like the pots are moist, and like this place is a very moist area because they live right next to a waterfall. So I feel like these planters would, unless they were like removed or destroyed, they would retain a certain amount of growth in them. But no plants, nothing's been maintained. They're not being like touched and nourished. Thing is, if I do that, well, columns will help. I gotta work in this direction for the fucking thing. The Helldivers track. Okay. Right? Very clear, distinct doors. We do doors. Well, Caretographer's got the cheesy cheats. Yep. All right. Coming along here. Coming along here. I need to put a new door in here as well. Um, looks freaking awesome. It's coming out way better than I actually thought it would. These roof tiles really make it come together. And I think I'll be able to do a roof above it as well. And do a third cap floor. I'm out of inspiration. I'm kind of feeling really, really dull right now, so I'm just going to do some dumb stuff. Like flatten terrain. This is something that I've been needing to do. I'm glad I get it a bit higher. It helps for the shape of the rest of the map. I figured out the waterfall too. try to get away with something like this. Sink it in a bit. Okay, back to terrain. No, come on. Ah. Stuff like that makes it really hard to build it in. Like, I don't know, for some reason the collisions are just like, no, we don't. We can't. That's not our vibe, you know? Like, why isn't it your vibe? No, come back. Stop deleting yourself. Just trying to put some shape on the river. Darken it up. And honestly, I don't have to do real water down there as well. I can just have my water look like this down there. You know, I could just do this. And the reason why I don't want to do this is because it ends up being just like a whole bunch of assets. And I don't want to just start with a whole bunch of assets in my way. Like, I gotta still build the rest of the map and stuff. So if I do this, like, I'll delete all this and I'll redo it. So yeah, you just kind of like match it up like this. This under the ground. Right? And then that's just my water. And any seam that kind of exists, you just put a couple rocks over there and a little rapid. And I feel like this would be a rocky river, like carved out through time. Because this river is really old and it's been next to this house for a long time. Oh, I love when you make the side of the hill all rock. Just looks so freaking good. Skirt it with some dirt. Like so. Oh, it's super moist. Get some moss up on it. You know, it's starting to come together a little bit. You know it. Let's get some layers in there. You know, you do the dark stuff near the water. You do a couple light specks away from the water, and then just fade it all back with some soft grass. So it looks like it's all patchy and it's been grown into a little bit. Not so clean cut. All right, these are just all the little details that if you pay attention to my streams and look into my builds, like you start noticing, you're like, wow, like this isn't, you know, just like a slap together map. You know, you didn't just take these tools and just, you know, go flap, 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 flap. Right? Like this gully looks really good all of a sudden. Should have saved before I did that. So I do an overhead export view. Just take a look at the whole river. And like I'll probably throw some big rocks up in this little chunk of grassland just to make it look more like rocky. It's been carved out a little bit, maybe little pockets of the ground, like if the water has risen. Oh, come on, give me my export view. I want to see it in its majesty. My layer view. Should have saved before I did this. I should have saved before I did this. Why didn't I do it? I know better. I'll be fine. My computer never crashes. It just will take a while. And that take a while can be scary sometimes. Oh, come on now. There it is. I mean, that looks really good. You add a little bit of white rapids right over here because it's a waterfall, and that little discoloration will fade away. Um, this looks awesome. We're gonna do like some light gardens in here in these two rectangles you see, and then like just the light gardens over here. Because what happens just beyond this point, like all over here, is called the Flotian estate gardens. So there's like a big decorative garden that'll just be like overgrown and gnarly and like a big labyrinth almost. And that's the front of the assault. That's the players. That's where the army and the militia are going to have to march through all that nonsense. Um, because they're not going to think it's, you know, that well manned. It's been, you know, only a short period of time, and they wouldn't think that it'll be that established. They're kind of brazen and naive in that regard. And then south of here, will be another point of interest, the Swan Gardens, which is like a cute little garden scene, which I don't know how I want that to be useful. I don't know how I'm going to use that yet. I might make it, I might not make it. If I do make it, it'll be I guess one of 3 maps. So there's going to be this map, which I'll do a little bit longer. So there's a little bit of a faded path out here and a connection path up here, down here. I will do a map of the front of the gardens, and then I'll do a map of the southern portion, which would include a small chunk of forest that kind of sits south of the castle, and that's kind of the vessel for which they've been sneaking out. Um, so I guess a small command post of raiders, flankers, can exist at the Swan Gardens because that's their post where they would probably check in and they would say, hey, head south, hit up the tradeway, wait for a caravan, bring loot back to the castle, right? Um, so maybe if they end up going that way and they end up, there'll be a small little encounter with them and like a lieutenant hobgoblin who has some sensitive information or in some regard. Um, and also it'll have a very large forest on it, which would be like a theater of mind narrative, like, hey, we're walking through this forest and sneaking up to the castle. So there's really 3 ways to approach the castle. Fuck the north, because it's way around how we'd approach it. It take the longest and it's wide open. There's no like coverage that way. There's the east, which is on high, which you'd have to ride up on the hills and come in through this main fortified gate. There's the south, which is by cover of forest, and then Swan Garden Estates and Flotian Estates. So it's not like the forest goes all the way up to the castle. There's some space. And then there's from the west, which is the Tradeway, which is again wide open, some estate gardens in between. But would be the most direct and the easiest vessel to get there. So I'm just gonna leave this little water get up here a bit. I'm gonna raise this up a little bit. Maybe I'll leave that path off it. I think I will. I think the path that leads from this road, there's a path that leads from this road up to the back way, and there's like a small hill here that you can walk up. It's not all cliff right there. The cliff ends like right around past this little chunk of map. Um, so in that regard, that southern map with the Swan Lake and the big forest that's the very top of it, I'll have a road that cuts and it'll almost be like a choose 2 directions. From this point, you can go up to the back gate or you can go to the front gate. Um, so if they do choose to sneak through the forest, they would have to fight a more comparable adversary, a lieutenant, if you will, and they would get rewarded in 2 ways. They would have some type of information that would help them, perhaps the exact location of where this leader is in the estate, um, or or also they would have the option to choose if they want to go through the front, if they want to go to the back, or if they want to do something else entirely different. Because there's a secret way to enter the castle, and that is being the size of a rat or a mouse. I guess you could also fly towards this interior courtyard and get in that way. The water doesn't breach the castle in any manner over here. It does breach it over here, and I don't know how or why. I might have the water breach the castle over here. Because that's going to be presented to the players, and you know, it's like maybe I put. Oh, where is it called? Where is it? There it is. Drain pipe. That's what it's called. Yeah, maybe I do even do this. Do I want it to be there? That would be, yeah, right here. Like, I guess I could put some cool type of water effect in. Or put it in a different room. I think that's where it would make the most sense, because the water actually comes up on the castle here. Well, we're gonna leave it like that. So we can leave the grate there, I guess, for now. I have to... No. There we are. No, can't do that. Get rid of these. Let's move this up. Nice, I can move that drain pipe up now a bit. Nice. Looks really good. Question is, do I want to come in? You see how the assets start getting in my way? The more I try to do. You know, do I want to try to come in with some of this? I think I do. That actually looks. I guess I can still grab this thing. All right. I think I like it without them better. All right. I think that's enough for me for today. You put a door in the middle here somewhere. I'll decide that shortly. I think at this point I do need to. I need to. I need to like get some pencil and paper, and I said this before, and I just need to like draw out like what I want where, so I don't have to do it on computer. It'll be a lot easier if I just do it off stream and on some pen and paper, quick hand. But that's it. I mean, that is the Flotian Estate. I mean, the bulk of it is on floor 2 because it has this extra connection point. And that's why I wanted to kind of like make sure that this is all built up effectively, appropriately. As this is like floor 1, right? If this is the hotel, the star would be on floor 2, right? Um, and the first floor is kind of like a subfloor, but still floor nonetheless. I really like the angle that, like, this is something I wouldn't have designed myself. And I think that's why I really personally like doing rebuilds and recreations and revamps and such. It's because I would come up with something that isn't as aesthetically pleasing. This should be a better circle, but that's the best shape that I could, sit on. So that's what we got. But other than that, this castle is the exact shape of what was presented. And like adding this little like waterfall and this little thing over it, like I never would have thought of doing all that. So let me save it for the 6th time, and let's get out of here. Thanks everybody that was here. I appreciate you. Um, nice. We'll get out of here before that ad hits everybody. I hope y'all have a safe day. Take care.